everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Insight Show. I am Reverend Tiffany White, Sage Woman. This show is brought to you by TruthNuggetsNetwork.com, and you're viewing the show live on TPN TV, or you were watching it in the archives, whether it's in the archives of the True Psychics Network channel on Ustream, whether it's on True Psychic Network's YouTube channel, whether it's on my channel, on my YouTube channel, Goldylocks Temple of Healing, and also too on Roku. Be the Light Metaphysical Chapel has a station or a channel there, and all of True Psychics Network shows are also on Roku. I hope I'm saying that correctly. ROKU. So you can find us in so many different areas. Yay! And if you're watching this live, you have the opportunity to chat in the chat room with other viewers, and also too, I can read the chat. So if you have any questions or comments, please be sure to do that. If you're watching the show in an archive, then please, if you have any questions or comments, please email me or contact me. It's very easy to do so. So welcome everyone. This is a beautiful, another cloudy day in Connecticut, but it's okay. It's beautiful. You know, can you feel the sun behind the clouds? I can feel the sun behind the clouds. Sometimes we have to go beyond what our physical eyes can see and know that the sun always comes out every day. You know, it's whether or not there's a veil covering it. You know, so being the clouds. So we know it's there. Do you feel it? So, I guess that same kind of analogy and concept for the spirit world, right? And then the veil being the clouds, and can you see through the clouds, or maybe even the fog? You know, some people say the fog, but that veil is getting thinner and thinner, and more people are experiencing, seeing, feeling, knowing, whatever your gift is. They're becoming more in tune. All right, and that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So today, everyone who watches this show knows that I start off with the number of the day with a little bit of numerology. And the concept of numerology is to take all numbers down to a single digit between 1 and 9. So we were going to get the number for today, and we use the complete date when we want to get the energy of the day. There's so many different ways you can do it and kind of put it all together. So today is the 16th. But if you just wanted to do the energy for the day, 1 plus 6 is 7. So it's a 7 energy. All right, and combined with the month and then combined with the year, you get a complete analysis of the energy for the day. So let's do that. December is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. We said it's the 16th. 1 plus 6 is 7. And then 2014 is a 7 year, because 2 plus 0 is still 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then 3 plus 4 is 7. So we have 3 plus 7 plus 7. And that gives us a total of 17. And then 1 plus 7 is 8. So this is an 8 energy type of day. So the energies associated with the number 8 is, this is a great, powerful, energetic day. Your personal power is on the rise, and you may find yourself feeling more liberated and dynamic and generous than normal. The number 8 possesses a great ability to make things happen. Keep in mind the needs of others, and you will gain much benefit from new business undertakings or personal relationships. Today is a day of gifts and rewards, and friends will provide comfort and inspiration. That's beautiful. Know that 2015 is a number 8 year. We're going into a number 8 year. So a lot of people, it's going to be a very successful year for them. Power on the rise. And just going through some sort of transformations, and depending, I think, on the number you are, your destiny number when you were born, as to to whether it supports next year for starting businesses and things like that, or starting in a new direction. But I just feel for everyone, 8 is a very spiritual, it's the infinity number. And it's just going to be a really great spiritual year for everyone. It really is. Come next year. So our 2015, what we have to look forward to. And it's only really a couple of weeks away. So woo! So it was kind of interesting. Time is just the whole concept of time or whatever. But it seems like it's speeding up or just... and it was interesting because I was watching football with the family yesterday, and someone had just signed a contract. An ex-football coach, Gruden, there signed a contract to be a commentator with NFL till like 2021. And we're like, wow, 2021. Then stop and think about it and go, guys, 2021. I mean, come next year. I mean, we're just 2 weeks away from it being 6 years away. 2021 is really closer than we realize. So it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Every time we go through that 10-year chunk, So how many of us had to get used to 2010 and then 10 years of that and then flip over 2020? Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. Kind of makes you feel ancient if you let it. It's all right. We're timeless. And speaking of numerology, be sure to check out Jane Alton's numerology in the True Psychics Network magazine. You can go to the True Psychics Network website and click on the magazine tab, and you will read great articles submitted by members. You will read Jane Alton's daily numerology. She taps into the energy for everyone and gives everyone a little numerology report every day. And this is for in general. All right, this is globally speaking. And so be sure to check that out. And then also this is where we let everyone know about upcoming shows, the details of the shows. And so be sure, if you would like to subscribe to that, you can just enter your email and subscribe to it. And this is all in the magazine, True Psychics Network magazine. All right. And also, too, we have this great feature as well every week. It's horoscopes, and they are updated every Monday or Tuesday. And this week, the horoscopes will be by Chip Lavelle, Charles Chip Lavelle. So look for that. It's going to be done later today. The website will be updated by this evening. So be sure to find out what energies are favorable for you this week. And thank you, Chip, for taking the time and channeling these messages for us all. All right. Another big event that we are 2 weeks from being done, we're 6 weeks in, is the True Psychics Network, or TPN's annual charity event. There is a tab on the True Psychics Network website. You'll go there and I just stay on True Psychics Network website and check out everything. But of course, go to the True Psychics Network website, the tab annual charity event, and it's very detailed. It explains this is something that we do every year. We have fun with it as far as vote for the 2014 TPN Member of the Year. Each member chooses a charity they would like to have donations made to. So when you are voting for the member, you're voting for their charity. And right now, I do believe Jeremy Ryden is in the lead with 9 votes, and Pamela's right at the heels. Pamela Cummings, Reverend Pamela Cummings, is right at his heels with 8 votes. So you can vote for the member and their charity, and then also make a donation. And all the money raised goes to the winning charity. And if there's enough money, if it's very successful with the fundraising, then we can actually donate to more than just one charity. So we will let everyone know and keep you updated. This event runs from November 1st to the end of the year, December 31st. So in January, we will let everyone know who won. It'll be posted back on the website and also on social networks. You can find us on True Psychics Network. Excuse me, of course you can find us on True Psychics Network. You can find us on Facebook. True Psychics Network has group pages and regular pages. And I also have my Goldylocks Temple of Healing page on Facebook as well. So there's plenty of ways and opportunities to stay updated and be in the loop. So, alright, I would like for you to, and thank you, Chip is posting all the links in the chat for those of you who are watching live. So all the links are made available for you. I would like to share with you very, very beautiful experiences. I consider yesterday the most magical day. And we should have periodic most magical days. And if it even helps you to count your blessings, to count your gratitude, to be grateful. But I consider most definitely yesterday a most magical day, just for the fact alone that it was my mom's birthday, who is crossed over in heaven, and also for a very dear partner and dear friend and soul sister, the partner in crime with True Psychics Network, the CEO and owner of True Psychics Network, Sinlu. Sinlu and Grafia's birthday was yesterday. So just the fact that two very special ladies in my life's birthday was yesterday is enough to make it magical on its own. On top of, and this is no coincidence here though, because I started the business on my mom's birthday in honor of her. So yesterday was also 4 years anniversary of Goldylocks Temple of Healing. Alright. So it was just a lot of very beautiful vibrations and energies. Of course, I light candles for all those I love. Living in, well, we're all living, just on different vibrations and dimensions. I light a candle for us all. Alright. And so that was just, I was just being so grateful for everything and just how beautiful everything was working out, as far as just once you whip up that gratitude energy, it feels so good. And I whipped it up really good. Like baking, you gotta make sure that batter is whipped up real good, right? So I did that, and it was just, you could feel it all through the home and just the vibration. And so the mail came, and a friend in Greece I had ordered a bracelet from her. I'm just going to take it off and show you, because it's just really beautiful. But I have this necklace, this turtle necklace with a bunch of gemstones on it. And I actually found that she has a bracelet that she handed. It's copper. It's the copper, weaving. And it's got turquoise turtles on it. It's a very beautiful bracelet. Okay. So I had ordered this bracelet from her. And now, coming from Greece, I didn't think I was going to get it for a while. Because it just, you have to think when you order something international, it's going to take a little bit. Something especially from another country. Well, I have to tell you, it got here very quickly, in under 5 days, and she included a free gift in the order, which I thought was, I just saw this little bag that said free gift, and I was like, oh, what is that? That's so sweet. You didn't have to do that, right? I opened it up. It's a keychain, and she does hand stamping. You see, this is Goldylocks. I actually posted it on my Facebook wall for those of you who are friends with me on Facebook. So Goldylocks, she could have put Tiffany on there. She could have hand stamped anything. But I cried as soon as I opened it and saw this, because I knew that it was just one of those love notes and kisses from the universe. I have it hanging up so I can see it. One of those love notes and kisses from the universe saying, great job with 4 years of your business, Goldylocks Temple of Healing. And I could feel my mother around, and then my grandmother and great grandmother, because they're the ones that called me Goldylocks. And so it was just, a whole beautiful family event. I felt like it was a reunion yesterday with all the women in the family, because that's the energy that came forth. And so I was still basking in all this and was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And then there was a delivery at the door, a package. And so I go and look and get the package off the front porch, and I realized that it's one of our neighbors, their next door neighbor's package. They delivered it to the wrong house. And I thought, how odd. This is the first time ever we have gotten another neighbor's package or mail. And I thought, but you know what? I get it. I understand that I'm supposed to go over there. And I have to give you a little short history about my next door neighbors. They're like our adopted grandparents. They're just a very beautiful couple. They've been married over 60 years. For the last 4 or 5 years, I don't know if I could really say her real name, but yeah. Okay, Mary had contracted some kind of disease in the blood, and her body started to fight against herself. Her own immune system started to look at her top layer of her skin as an enemy and started fighting them. So she developed these sores all over her body. She's had to have blood transfusions, or even where they pump the blood out, recycle the blood. I mean, the things that this woman has been through in the last 4 or 5 years has been horrendous. And the whole community, we reached out at first, the first year, was trying to be very helpful, and of course, you want to be careful and not invade somebody's privacy either. And so, we let them know, we're here. Please let us know if there's any help that you need or anything that you need whatsoever. I mean, they have a big family, and their kids are really good. The kids and grandkids are coming over and taking care of them. So it was just like, okay, y'all need anything, again, just let us know. Because it's always good, to put that out there. And so we've done that. We've just kind of let them have their space. So when I saw the package, I was like, it's time. It's time for a visit now. So I go over there, and he opens the door, her husband, and he almost cries when he sees me. And he was like, please come in, and let's go see Mary, let's go talk to her. Now they've had to redo their house like a hospital almost to take care of and accommodate her. She couldn't walk, so just to go to the hospital for any type of treatments, the ambulance has to come and transport her there and back. And so I sat with them for a half hour, and it's now they are very, very strong in their belief system, and they're Catholic, and I honor that. So I just sat there now and was giving her some distant healing, a little bit closer than from my home, because I include her in the distant healings I give out every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Sometimes I do another one if I'm guided to, hey, let's do another one, depending on the events, what's going on. I really don't compare it to that. I just listen to Spirit, and if they say we need to send another one, I just do it. No questions asked. Let's just do it. So it was great just sitting there and listening, and knowing that prayers have been answered when another doctor who wasn't her doctor stepped in and had helped out and made some really good suggestions. You know how I am, especially holistic professionals. We're all about health. And to listen to stories about how conventional medicine wasn't working, I had to bite my tongue. It's not surprising. But I just listened, nodded my head. Yeah, well. And thank God a doctor who wasn't a doctor didn't just use that, it's not my patient, I'm not going to be concerned. He was guided to look at her chart, get her blood work, and he told the nurses to relay a message, or if he came in and wanted to see her too and meet this woman. And he told her, he goes, they're not doing anything for you to help your immune system rebuild. It's just a continuous stripping down. Like, you need protein, you need iron, so take some protein shake. You need to take this. You need to do this every day. He made his recommendations. That was what was in the package. All right, holistic powder, right? The protein powder and the iron, and it came to me. And now I kind of chuckled and smiled because everyone who knows I have Nature Sunshine herbs. I'm always having herbs and things to help support healthy diets coming to the house. So I was like, this is beautiful. It is so beautiful. And we sat there and cried together because the energy was just so strong and so powerful. And he was talking about how at one point Mary almost gave up. And so we're all in tears, but it was very healing tears. And it's great to cry with others sometimes, isn't it? So I'm getting all teared up just talking about it. So it was a very, very beautiful visit. And I came home, and by that time, my husband and my sons were home from work. And so I had shared with them what had happened and just updates on them. And it was just such a beautiful experience. It really was, because you could just feel the healing that everyone was getting. All of us were in this. When you sit in a circle or you sit in a room, and just that beautiful healing energy whips up when you command it to. And so, of course, I was going to do that. And then it's just as beautiful when you listen to the visiting nurses that have been visiting her, and how they are from other countries and they come to the United States to learn. But you know what a lot of these people coming from other countries have? They're shamans or medicine men and women, and they love just putting their hands on her and helping her to heal when they're redoing her bandages, because even though she's not breaking out anymore, her skin is still healing, and so she has some bandages in some areas. But she's making such progress that they hope to start physical therapy in the next couple of weeks to get her walking again. And so she can get out of the bed finally. Could you imagine being bedridden for over 4 years? That's a true test, isn't it? Very much so. And so it's, but I'm always very respectful of their belief, and I also know that, if it didn't come from a doctor, they didn't want to hear anything. So I was very careful with it, and I asked my guides, well, can I suggest a couple of other things? Like, they need a probiotic, and she needs a probiotic. Can I suggest that? Yes, go ahead. So I suggested that and just asked, again, check with your doctors, okay? If you, check with these visiting nurses that's coming in. So that's why I was just like, the most magical day. And then to top it off, I totally forgot, I have been taking a 7 Keys to Effective Natural Healing herbal course. And last night was the last webinar. There's webinars online, there's tests, and everything. And it's just a really nice course that was set up. And so I had completed all the testing up to this point. And so I was watching the webinar, and now I just have to wait for the instructor to post the final test. And then I'm done. I'm done with that part. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep upgrading my herbal courses. It's like a step at a time. But it's a big step and a hurdle for me to be focused on a subject I thought was so boring, but actually it's not. I thought it was going to be so scientific with all of these scientific names, all this. They're going to make us remember that and this. And no, it's not. When they put it into, I think it's the instructor too, because he's very much mind, body, and soul. He's not just scientific, all right? He puts it all into that mind, body, and soul perspective, and that's exactly what I need. Because that's how I view things. Especially healers, we do that. We see the complete picture. So it was, yes, I'm really excited about that. Oh, so I can't wait to get that certificate. Anyway, add that to my, list of services, specialties, right? All right, so I've babbled on and on, but I just wanted to share the most magical day and count blessings, because we could easily go, oh my goodness, they delivered the package to the wrong house. That's such an inconvenience. Now I have to go next door. It's all in how we choose to respond or react, because react is that very first quick reaction to a situation, or we can sit back and count to 10 and respond and really see the beauty behind something that's happening. It's so easy to see the negative of any situation that's happening to us. But let's look at the whole picture now. Look at the beautiful part of it. What are you supposed to learn? Is there a lesson in all of this? Why is this happening? Excuse me. Oh, I found this drink that's really good. It's cranberry and coconut water together. So it's cranberry juice with coconut. Oh, it's very delicious. The way that the coconut makes the cranberry less bitter, it's a really, really nice taste. So I drink lots of water, but I sometimes want a little bit of the juicing too. Juice. So, all right, let's get to the crystal message, shall we? The crystal message of the week. Now, I was very impressed with this. I even had to look it up. Most of them I know, but I wasn't. I had to refamiliarize myself with this one. The crystal and gemstone for the week is zebra marble. Zebra marble. It's a very pretty stone. Zebra marble. It is a stone of patience and acceptance, and it stimulates an atmosphere of non-judgment and self-acceptance. This goes right on with what we're going to talk about, the topic of the day too. I find it so beautiful how it all comes together, where the guides will give me a topic, and then I'll ask for, days later, like this morning I sat down. I got the topic over the weekend for today's show. And then the crystal message this morning, as well with the power animal message, which I had to make sure was for everyone. But the zebra marble, just to repeat, is a stone of patience and acceptance. It stimulates an atmosphere of non-judgment and self-acceptance. We need to observe. Know that there's a difference between judgment and observing. All right? So, and I think when you get into a healer space, healers always observe. That's seeing the whole picture. And the observation is not to judge. The observation is to help heal. This is how we have to view everyone, our brothers and our sisters, and how we help each other. Okay? Not calling out, oh, you did this wrong, or placing blame, or no, that doesn't help anybody. It really doesn't. And it just shows your weakness when you do that. Okay. So, zebra marble. All right. Power animal message for this week is a crow. Crow! Those of you know I love crows. And so, I'll have to, I think did show it in the video. I made this video. It was a holiday lights at Goldylocks Temple of Healing, since I work out of my home, and I did like a holiday tour and I think I did show, there's a window right here, and I have like a Chinese screen, half screen, and I have crows, stuffed crows hanging from it. I mean, they're not taxidermy crows, no, they're just fake, crows. And so I love crows and ravens. So I had to make sure that it was a message for everyone and not just for me, because I go out with the dogs every morning and have this great dialogue with nature, and then the crows come and start communicating and validating, and it's really beautiful. Love exchange. Good morning, good morning, good morning. The little birds, the little sparrows. It's so beautiful. And it's all like in the quiet of the morning before people go to work. So it's very still, but you can hear the earth's heartbeat in that stillness. And that's what makes it so beautiful. You hear it because everything else is quiet. There's no traffic. There's no sound coming from neighbors or just everyone being awake, you know? So it's so very beautiful. I recommend you try that. All right. So the crow, the characteristics and messages that the crow carries is the ability to move in time and space and in between the two worlds. All right. It doesn't see a veil, but most animals don't. Not most. All animals and children don't. All right. Honoring the ancestors, ethics and ethical behavior, guidance while working in the shadow. Absolutely. And a guardian of the place before existence. This place that's beyond our human mind. Our human mind can't even wrap around that. All right. So very beautiful, isn't it? So thank you, Crow and Raven. So for the messages. And it's so funny. Before I even got this message, I was playing on Facebook this morning. And I support a lot of small business owners. And so I like Etsy. And I do a lot of my Christmas shopping from Etsy. And you'll be surprised what you can find on Etsy. And so I was going through doing a couple of more Christmas gifts. And so I came across this one woman who makes these beautiful hats, crochets them in different types of themes, you know, like the Ninja Turtles, and they were just so cute. And then they had one of a Viking helmet with the horns. I mean, this lady's really talented with the crocheting. And I was just like, oh, that's cool. So I posted it to my Facebook. And I was like, all we need now, where's the ravens? Because Odin had 3 ravens with him all the time. So that's why I was making the joke. I was doing a little, you know, Odin reference there. If I call Odin Broden because he's my bro. Brother Odin. I have conversations with him too, like in the middle of the night if I take the dogs out. You want to talk about stillness. It's absolutely breathtaking, especially now when it's getting cold and you get out there and you can see your breath. And then when I have a conversation with Broden and I ask for a sign, there's a gentle wind that blows. He always will get me. And sometimes if we're teasing each other, a big gust will come and mess my hair up because he knows how, I am with my hair. So he'll but it's beautiful to play with them, and everyone who plays with fairies knows exactly what I'm talking about. And these beings are available for anyone to communicate and talk with. Absolutely. You just have to establish that connection and keep the connection, or even if you revisit it, because all of us have as children. All right, and so let's revisit it. All right. So the topic is settling for less creates blockages in your life. This is a great time of the year to talk about settling for less at the end of one year and going into another. So you have to understand settling for less does create blockage. And what do I mean by settling for lesser? Now, I'm going to use this as an example. We've been very quiet to protect her, but now it's kind of public. Well, kind of public. It is public. One of True Psychics Network members, Sandy Cameron, aka the Farmer Chick. All right, now has a GoFundMe account. It's been a process. Sinlu and I have been helping her for the last 2 years, and I shouldn't say just that. It's True Psychics Network is a family, and we truly are there for each other and help each other through good times and bad times. It's not just here's a network, you do this, you do that, that's it. I don't want anything else about you. We are truly, a tightly woven family, and we help each other. And so she went through a messy divorce the last 2 years. We experienced all of that. Long story short, and trying to keep her stuff kind of private. And part of the divorce was that he's supposed to take care of the mortgage payments. All the stuff was sent to him, mailed to him at his location. He just stopped paying on the house. Let it go into foreclosure because her and the kids are staying there. Oh yeah, there's choice words you could have for someone like that. But you know what? It's like, okay. So now she was finally, last week I do believe, she was finally served with, she has to leave papers from the sheriff. Came and here's your eviction notice. And, they have to leave those up. I didn't know that. They have to keep them taped up. But he was so sweet. He taped it up underneath her reef so no one could see it. Isn't that sweet? So, and the house goes into auction at the end of January. So she's like, oh my gosh, packing, trying to quickly find a place. So it was guided to just please start a GoFundMe and see who helps. So to raise money for a down payment for a place, for the utilities, for food, just all of this. She has 3 kids, and the whole moving process. So you know what? I'm so happy. Within 24 to 48 hours, her first goal was met. She extended. It was like, let's increase the price, just a little bit more. And so it's so beautiful. People come together and help each other. It really, really is. And we know Sandy will pay it forward. Sandy has always, she's the kind of person that does this. She will help everyone. So the settling for less, where does this come in? The settling for less is her trying to find a place. And you have a realtor that is trying to help her and stay within a good budget, right? And so Sandy has very specific wants. I can't have just a 2-bedroom. I have 3 kids and 2 boys and a daughter. And she wants them to have the boys one room with the daughter and then her room. And she was willing to share a room with her younger daughter. But she's just like, but I want 3 bedrooms and I would like to have this. I would like to rent a house. And the realtor was trying to put her into an apartment. And so this one place came up. It was 2 bedrooms. And I was like, Sandy, how do you feel about it? She goes, I don't feel good about it at all. I said, listen to your intuition. And she goes, yes, but the realtor says that I shouldn't be so picky. That, I shouldn't be picky and that I should just take what I can find. And I said, hold on. Don't you ever let anyone ever make you settle for something that you know in the pit of your stomach is wrong for you. All right? And that is her projecting her belief onto you. Don't let anyone ever project their belief onto you when you know that it's not right. That's settling when you do it anyway. All right? I said, no. And she goes, we're running out of time. I was like, no, you're not. Watch how everything's going to work out beautifully. I was like, you say no. You've told the universe what you wanted, and it's going to open up, especially after the holidays. Watch how fast something will come. And I mean, it's gonna be like in a matter of 2 weeks. You can find something and move. And I was just like, so just stand in that and know, believe, and trust that it's all going to work out. All right. And so she didn't. And that's part of the whole settling, when you know that something's not right for you. Whether it's like this, people who are trying to relocate, find a home, and settle for, well, I guess this is okay. And here's the kicker, is that Sandy knows that the place she's going to move to is temporary. That doesn't mean that you have to settle less even for a temporary place. The next stepping stone should be comfortable for you. So even if it is temporary. And how many we do this, whether it's for trying to find a home, whether it's in our jobs, relationships. Do you settle? And here's to those that as you get older, and it's not just women, there's men who want to have relationships too. As you get older and you realize that maybe, am I missing something? I'll just settle for the next person that comes along just to be in a relationship and experience it. Don't do that. You may regret it later. All right, don't settle. And don't settle just because you don't want to be alone either. So it's all in. You have to work on yourself as far as that's concerned. Love yourself. And then others will be able to love you as well. Because we do mirror. If we're damaged, we attract damaged people. Do you understand? I think we all are damaged. We're all a work in progress. But you want to attract someone who is your work in progress. Right? That kind of thing. But so not someone who's just going to bring you down and keep pulling you down. You need someone who's going to lift you up. All right? And so you have to lift yourself up, though. And you have to make sure that you're not settling. Don't settle. Okay? And so and that's with everyone, even in you can use this with anything, apply this to anything, whether it's experiences, your relationships, and I mean it can be something. But most people will say, "Oh, you're being picky." No, you're not being picky. It's you know what you want. All right? You know what you want. So stick with it. All right? And because when we settle, we sell a piece of ourselves, don't we? We are sacrificing. We do not ever need to sacrifice or martyr ourselves ever again. No more martyrship. No more sacrifice. We're done. All right? That's old world thinking. Old. It's old illusional world type of thinking. It's like old brainwashing. You don't have to sacrifice and martyr. And definitely don't settle. Because that's what settling is. Sacrificing. Okay? Now, I'm not talking to like when you're trying to come to a compromise. That's different. And you can know the difference between a compromise and then settling for. Alright? And especially if maybe you and a partner want something but you want different. Alright? This is where a compromise comes in. But if you are settling, you're not compromising. Alright? And you both have to be happy with it. And that's why compromising can be a little tricky, because you have to be completely honest with each other. And you have to be honest with yourself. And so, but it's okay. It will all work out. As long as you listen to your own intuition. Listen to that divine guidance that is within each and every one of us. All right. It's there. We have that navigation, that GPS, right? And so it's just don't settle. And the same like with getting, let's use another analogy or another example, so to speak, like a car. Here's a good, yes. My youngest son, his first car, he settled for because he wanted a car. Turned out to be a lemon. Yep. And he drove it for maybe 3 months, and it sat in our driveway for 15 months, a year and a half, till he finished paying it off. And then he got a new one. But he learned, I'm not settling. And I'm not, settling, and there's no need to rush and to hurry. I said, take your time. This time, make sure it's right. Because he had a feeling that the first one wasn't, and he ignored it. So, it's like, don't settle. Even in that. And you know it. And most of us do, don't we? We'll go, oh, gosh, darn it, I knew that was going to happen. Yeah. Yeah, so, and this is where, hey, The characteristics of that zebra marble, the gemstone for this week, right? What is it? A stone of patience and acceptance. And self-acceptance, and not being judgmental with yourself. Self-acceptance is embracing that divine truth that is within you and is trying to navigate you and steer you in the right direction. We just have to make sure that our stubborn mind isn't trying to fight with the heart, right? Fight with that knowing, that knowledge that we have within us. Okay, so don't ever settle for less. Okay, and it's and mind, body, and soul. It's not just in the physical sense, like I said. It's also what we experience, and even our emotions and how we feel things through. And don't settle for anything that's going to hurt you on an emotional type of level. All right. And to try to impress anyone, you don't even need to do that. Like with a job, if you know that you physically aren't able or emotionally can't handle it, don't do it. I'll give you another example. Let me put it here. Okay. So, like for job wise, I settled, this was before, I'm having to go back into the archives here in my mind, memory archives. Yeah, this was before my children were born. I worked at a power company, and I enjoyed my job in accounting. I loved it. All right, because it was internal accounting. My customers were the other employees, was the construction department, or the linesmen, the people who actually went out. Did you use all this equipment, this pole, this light, this how many feet of cable? It was internal auditing, and it was very fun. I absolutely enjoyed that job. And being young, and that was a very emotional time in my life, because I was going from, my first marriage was dissolving, and so I knew it was going to be on my own. So I was offered a job to move over into customer service. It was more money if you move over to customer service and deal with the customers. Well, let me do some training. I did some cross training over there, and I was like, it's okay. And I was like, I knew I couldn't handle that on a daily basis. But you know what? I settled. I sold out my comfort and took it anyway for security. Of more money. Let me tell you, that more money would be spent on psychiatrists, because or alcohol or something, because, no, I'm teasing. But I'm telling you, when I made that, went through all that training, and I switched over to full-time customer service, I thought I was going to pull my hair out. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And those of you who work customer service, especially on the phones and a call center or something like that, where, you have customers calling in, yelling and screaming about the bill, about anything, and you're like, oh my gosh, I understand. I didn't personally do this to you. Please don't yell at me. And just, oh my goodness. And being the empath that I am, it devastated me on such a deep and emotional level. And I was mistaken. I made a mistake. I should have never taken this, I should have never taken this job, or this, promotion, so to speak. Yeah, right. Again, like I said, the extra money that was made could have gone to therapy, because no. So needless to say, shortly thereafter, though, I did the whole process of this job. I had gotten through a divorce, and I had my current husband now, and remarried, and then it was like, okay, now it's time to move on. I didn't see a future there anymore, and I knew it was time to move on. And so I was actually going to go back to school, but then I ended up pregnant with my first son. So it was like, Okay. I guess the universe has other plans. So, again, that was just a little lesson about settling. Settling. Don't settle. Even when I knew I wasn't going to like that. But I settled or sold out because of more money. Let me tell you what. And those of you who have done that now can easily step into a job that pays less or they make less money, but they're happier because there's no price for your happiness. None. All right. And so it's just like, no, I'm happier. I'm healthier because I'm happier. All right. And that's, I think, a big thing when people have to, or they go into business for themselves too. Like in my case. But I always knew in growing up that I couldn't work for someone else. I wasn't a good employee. I was a good leader. And with every job, I really did go up the channel very quickly. I didn't even notice this till years ago. That any project, anything was given to me, I did it very well and exceeded that and would go up the ladder very quick. And then the whole thing is when you get to know how a company works and you, oh, wow, how is this helping humanity? It's not. I'm out of here because I want to help humanity. Yeah, I've always kind of stubborn that way, and then I always came across people who were like, but you need money. What about this? What about that? And that. The whole man's plan. Right, Chef Ceci. Yeah, man's plan. No. That doesn't vibe with my soul plan. And that's the thing. Listen to your own soul's plan. Your own mission. You know what you're here to do and honor it. And don't let anyone else make you settle, make you sell out, and make you do something you don't ever want to do. All right? And when I said Chef Ceci in chat, Chef Ceci is also a member of True Psychics Network. She has her shows, The Food Alchemist, and because she is a food alchemist. But the Food Alchemist show is on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a TV show. You can catch it live right here on the Ustream, the True Psychics Network channel of Ustream. So, and then also in the archives, the same places where you can find all of our TV archives. So, thank you, Chef Ceci. And let me tell you, she knows. You ask, and people may think that it's so easy now. They have all these organizations out to help women get into their own business. That doesn't always work. So you just have to, the only help you really need is trusting that divine team that you have behind you. Now, I'm not saying, it does help to network with like-hearted people. Careful with the mind. People say like-minded, but if you're heart-centered, that's just going to frustrate you to be around somebody who is up here and you're here, right? And so, yeah. So she knows what she's had to overcome too, to be in business as a woman. All right? And to follow that. And it's nothing against men, because even men, it wasn't really man's plan. Whose plan? Because I know a lot of these, like I said, every generation coming in is a lot higher spiritually, okay? So I know there's a lot of men who are in touch with their emotions, who are very balanced. It terrifies them to think that their whole family depends on them, on their job and their money. That's heavy. Can you imagine feeling that? That is a heavy responsibility. And they're scared of messing up. They have the same, we all have the same, fears, choices for fear. We have that all, we can all tap into that same fear and have the same concerns. All right. And so, yeah, there's a lot more emotional men now, and who feel like it's hard to do things on their own. And this is why you're going to see probably a lot more single men, single women, who want to get established first before they even think about trying to start families. And that's all right. If you notice, as we have gotten on in generations, it's totally different than our grandparents and great-grandparents. Got married when they were really young and immediately let's have this family. No, that doesn't work anymore. People aren't into that. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen at all. It can. But I'm saying that the whole thought process behind that is you don't have to settle. I remember my mom telling me that if she wasn't engaged, this is the thought pattern then, if she wasn't engaged by the time she got out of high school, by the time she graduated, people would call you an old maid. You were considered an old maid for not being engaged at graduation time. What? What? Isn't that crazy? The way that society puts these labels on people? Come on. Don't settle for the labels. Peel those labels off. They don't need it. Again, that's not my belief. Don't let someone project their belief onto you. All right? And especially those that try to tell you you won't be successful. Wrong. I will be. Don't let them say that you're not going to, that you're going to fail at something. That's the same thing. Just don't let people do this to you. Don't settle. Don't sacrifice. All right? And you know what? If you try, I knew I had always wanted to be in business, but I wasn't sure what it was. And when the kids, my two sons were smaller, I did a lot of MLM marketing. And I was a good salesperson. Really good. I was always top 3 no matter what company I was with for the area. The regional top 3 no matter what I did. And but then I felt unsatisfied again because it was like, oh, I set these goals, I meet them, and it was like, but how's this helping everybody? Again, you learn more about how companies work, and I was like, wow, I'm making money for this company, and they really don't care about me. And not such a big company like that, or just with MLMs. And so I was like, oh, I'm done. Guide me. And I kept hearing that I was going to be in business, but I thought that it was a business where, like I said, MLM or things like this. And it wasn't until I had to step away and I felt like I had failed in those areas because I wasn't number 1. I wasn't top salesperson, right? It wasn't failing. It was all experiences and practice. You have to embrace every experience that you have. There's no mistakes whatsoever. Okay? And yes, alpha females. I know I'm an alpha female too, Chef Ceci. Chef Ceci most definitely is an alpha female. You can't put us in a box. I'll tell you, we're just going to destroy that box. All right? And so give us rules, and we're going to find the loophole in that rule, because politicians and everyone else does, with laws. Please, making laws just for the mass people. It's not for, those who think they can break it. Whatever. Anyway. Again, don't let anyone try to hold you down, and settle. And settle. And that's what you're doing if someone tells you you're not good enough and you have to get married and you have to do this and you have to do that. No, you don't. There's plenty of women now who just want to have a kid and no marriage. And have whatever order they want to put it in, that's up to them. It's not up to anyone else to try to project their belief onto somebody else, right? So just don't do that. Don't do that. We need to embrace it. And I think we have been embracing that more and more, that the whole concept of families is no longer a man and a woman. It can be 2 women. It could be 2 men. It could be a single parent. It doesn't matter. All right. And so, yeah. And I have seen people that are just, when they do settle, what happens by midlife time, they're having midlife crises. They're having issues within their body because they have ignored that inner GPS of we're going the wrong way. You're tearing up our body by going the wrong way, by continually putting us in a situation that's unhealthy. And it usually, unfortunately, takes a major trauma or a major event to snap people. And so we don't have to wait till we have an accident. We don't have to wait till we have a near-death experience. We don't have to wait, take it to that extreme. Let's listen. Listen to that own intuition. Listen to your own heart's wants and desires. And don't let anyone tell you that you're being selfish either. Just because you don't agree with the way that someone else is doing something, or they don't agree with you. Who cares? Especially, is that person a major influence in your life? Are they helping you in any way, shape, or form? No, then keep your mouth shut. So. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I just realized the time, but hey, it's okay. It's not like there's another show waiting right behind this one. So it's okay. But it is very important, settling for less. And now let's take this on a big scale. Let's take this politically. Let's take this to our community of not settling. I got jumped on big time on my personal Facebook. I actually had to just remove the post because people were getting really nasty. I think that day I defriended a lot of people. But they weren't in my spiritual circle of friends. So November election day, I go out there and vote and support our ancestors. All those who fought for our rights, equality, the women that died. And women were abused and died. For us women to vote, you should do that in honor of them. And then people, there's no good choices anymore. I'm not talking about, it's not president election time. It wasn't major election time. It's always local elections. Always charity or any type of work starts at home and in your community. I'll tell you, I've seen voting work in the community. Haven't you? Let's vote for this project. Vote for a simple thing as let's put a street light up that can save some lives here because so many accidents happened. This is the thing that I was referring to, is that your vote does count, especially locally. And what a difference you can make in the community and help make a difference in the community. Help keep the right people in office locally. All right? And then that does extend. All right? But we can make a difference. But for those who are just so upset over the world right now, and I'm just not even going to, they just completely pull back. Well, then don't you complain when your town or city does something that you could have had a voice in and you didn't. And don't you find that those are the first people to complain? They're the ones that don't really want to get involved, but just sit there and complain about everything. That's all they do is complain. All right. So, no, I'm not settling even for that. And it could be just a simple little thing, like I said, but makes huge differences. Notice that the simplest little things have a huge effect energetically. All right? So, whew. So anyway, that's what I meant. Go out there and make a difference in your community. Help the community. So that when you don't settle for less, you're helping someone else in that whole healing. Remember, as within, so without. As without, so within. As above, so below. As below, so above. Um, have you ever heard somebody say, I'm without something? Of course you are, because you need to go within. It's like they say, they know, they're repeating what their soul's saying, but they're not getting it. They're not understanding what the message that their soul's saying, right? So, yeah. So that's it. That's what I'm talking about. The people that don't settle and that go on and do things for humanity's good. Because I'll tell you, the greedy people will always try to put down people that are for humanity's highest and greatest. But you know what? It may seem like they are winning. They're not. They're losing. The more and more light workers and more people are plugging in, are reconnecting, are reawakening. Really, really, they are. The media is not going to show you that. The media is just going to show you the bad. And always know that there's always two sides to every story and situation. Always. Right? And if this way, I don't even bother with the news or newspaper anymore. If you can't give me the whole story, don't waste my time. Nope. I'm not even giving you attention or put energy to it. So. Alright. Whew, I feel my guides now. They're kind of just like backing up a little bit because they. So I guess we're done. We went over, but it's okay. It was a little late coming to getting the show started, as it was just, I had a session run over this morning, and then I had to get the dogs outside and let them run around and stretch their legs and have fun. So it's all good. You know what? You're never late to anything. I'm always on my own time. Yeah, so it's all right. It's all good. But thank you so much, everyone, for taking time out of your busy day and sitting in the healing circle with me, because each and every one of us has given and received a healing. All of us, whether you're watching the show live or whether you're watching it recorded. And I do have a second show today. Today is the day where I have two shows. Of course, a TV show right now. You can catch me again. This is a radio show only at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The Spiritual Insight Show radio show this evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. My special guest will be Reverend Terry Baker, who is also a member of True Psychics Network. And we have some exciting announcements this evening in regards to Terry. So we will just save that for then. But anyway, so be sure to tune in. And you can always check the schedules on the TPN TV and radio pages of the True Psychics Network website, so you can see all the schedules for the wonderful upcoming shows this week. So we have a lot of them, so check them out so you can make sure that you take time to either watch them live or archives. So that's always popular now. People on demand, or when they want to watch something, it's there. They know where to find it, right? So with our busy schedule, especially this time of the year, remember, it is a time of giving. It's also a time of receiving. It's part of the same thing. You shouldn't separate. All right. So make sure you are receiving time for yourself, receiving healing time, receiving the de-stress time. All right. And receive. And receive. And it's okay if you buy something for yourself during this time. I've heard people say that. I can't do that. I feel so guilty. I'm supposed to just buy for others. If there's something you like, who cares if it's close to a holy day? Buy it. Whatever. I'm not talking about, as long as you know what you can do financially. But don't do that either. Again, you're settling with old beliefs that were probably handed to you. Anyway, all right. I love you all so very much. Thank you. Heart to heart. Much joy, peace, and happiness to each and every one of you. And I will be back live next Tuesday, 1 p.m. The next TV show will be next Tuesday, Christmas week, right? So, and happy Hanukkah to all of those who celebrate Hanukkah. Very beautiful Festival of the Lights celebration. So always make sure that you are shining your own light, my dear brothers and sisters. Many blessings to every one of you. Namaste.